Welcome Dr. Same Mdluli and Blessing Ngobeni to the Makhanda Virtual National Art Festival. So Bless, the spotlight is on you. So when they put a spotlight on you, were you surprised? We're like, sorry, maybe there's another Blessing Ngobeni I'm not sure of. Was it a surprise when they said?
I don't think it was a surprise because.
Oh, Blessing, I like your style. so it's not a surprise. I deserve this. Yes.
Yeah, I think the work that I create is the one that at some point needed my backup, because if I did not put that effort towards thinking, because at some point I think the great building of the nation, it starts by thinking. So when you think deep about situations, your personal situation or community or societal situation, all this and that, then it brings you to be recognized, without your knowledge that you're doing great stuff. So for me, the Standard Bank, showed me that what I'm doing is visible, is seen, and it's not the end of it. So myself, I never had time to relax, in whatever that I'm doing. For instance, I've been also helping other young artists, which is part of maybe why they thought it is going in a good kind of,
Do you deliberately trying to comment on where society is headed, or where society comes from, or what society can be? Is it deliberate? Do you always start off by saying, this puts me out of joint, I want to say something about it?
I think the best way to comment on that is that when you find a blank canvas on the wall, the blank canvas is the one that source out your way you think things and then put it together. Then when you're messing up that canvas, you are in a dialogue with an empty space, or empty object that at some point the results of it become a masterpiece without your knowledge. So meaning the thinking part is when I'm speaking to you right now. For me, my engine is like sourcing out things to talk about, That's how I think all my work are coming from. That's why I don't relax, When I walk to my studio, the feeling of being in that space, it allows me to have a dialogue with something that is not there, and that something will come out as a piece that is speaking to my current life and what I see it could be on social media, it could be friends talking, it could be when you drive, travel.
So it's not premeditated, it is instinctive. It is, but it is instinctive but with deep meaning. Bless, you know what's interesting? I don't want to read your mind, but it sounds like you are saying that as Africans we must unite under one flag, and there are issues we need to deal with, and other issues we need to deal away with, and other issues we need to confront, and there are some people we can reference, and others for the right and for the bad. Yeah. Is that what you're saying, or am I overreading this? Yeah. But some commented about the tree that's not rooted. Why is this tree not?
As I said,
because baobab is a solid tree.
Yeah, as I said, that this tree, no matter how much we water it, as Africans, the Western system comes and dry it up. So then that's why it becomes rootless, because it's no longer reaching,
it weakens the roots.
Yeah, so it's a question actually that is remaining, which is the question, a blunt question, that is the title of the installation.
That's a blunt question. You challenge the power structures continually in your work. You're not afraid to say the unspoken.
Yeah.
And you spoke earlier about how you also look at pieces of newspapers, some of the commentary, and it's hidden. There's a lot of that in this piece.
Yeah, basically with this piece, the title is titled No Gold but Chicken Dust. That's the title of the piece. Why I brought that, because the original title coming from No Gold but Corruption, in one of the previous works that I did, which was more speaking about the Joburg kind of struggle and all this and that. But in this term, it's speaking about the resources that is no longer available for the people of origin, Then by doing that, for me, I source out so many articles like from social media, and then I print them out, which are speaking about
those very challenges, those issues of dispossession from the people.
Yeah, for instance, there is like in this specific piece, there is a time when they used to bait with our own kids, That's a historical, they would take our children and bait to these crocodiles and to catch crocodiles using human beings that are children, So for me, I thought, as much as this happened back then at some point it's being erased, but at some point it pops out in the social media. Then for me to save them, let me print almost all these different, like the Namibian genocide.
I saw that lawsuit against Germany.
Yeah. So I thought, as much as, because those are the ideas that were, like the system that were created long time and then is still existing today, because a black child cannot enjoy the fruitness of his or her land.
So we're obviously in a very difficult time now with the COVID-19 pandemic that has completely redefined how we live our lives now. It's changed sort of many of the freedoms that we took for granted. And as an artist, you thought you have an opportunity to express that as well. And this piece of work is that work.
Yeah, I think this piece of work is a result of how I felt when I was in a lockdown, and then how I felt from the people that are in the same situation like me. The idea behind that is that what about those that are living in the shacks and who came up with this corona thing? So it's a question that is suspended, it's hanging on the air, because I still believe that even our so-called representative of the people, they don't know what they are doing, they don't know what it is, so they're still beating around, because already the feeling that I have with the COVID-19 is that there's some secrets that it need to be explained and packed out, So therefore, the work of an artist is to try to question that and be on point, because the title of the work is like Made in China.
And
because that's where.
Why Made in China now? I'm quite keen. Are you saying that the pandemic was made in China, or what are you trying to say?
In a larger scale, the idea of this pandemic gave me a platform also to protest against the vandalism of our African land, which is the Chinese. They've been given larger projects to run, and then the people of origin, they don't have those projects that it can support their own people. But the question is, because when it came about, it was said it came from Wuhan in China.
Got it.
Then in that going on, Africans that happened to be in China, they were started to be shifting the blame that Africans, they are the ones
were discriminating them, they were being victimized.
Who have this corona thing. Do you know what I mean? So trying to look at how the history itself of a black person is a person who cannot do stuff, a person who cannot. So why now he is a person who's bringing the corona, the COVID-19? You see, this is a question,
From a Standard Bank perspective, is this what you expected in terms of just the scale? Because we spoke earlier that Blessing does scale in two ways. Scale as in volume, scale as in size.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think for a body of work to present for an important platform like the National Arts Festival, certainly I think this has gone over and beyond the expectation. But I think what's even more important is to also note how the work itself has evolved, in such throughout, I guess, Blessings. If you look at where Blessing comes from and where he is now, and it's phenomenal to see that in this particular body of work.
Thank you, Blessing Ngobeni. Thank you, Dr. Simon Bluli from the Standard Bank Art Gallery. On behalf of Everett Reed Gallery, this is the end of our show at the Makhanda National Art Festival.